You're very welcome back now. Most of us will admit to having been on a diet at some point in our lives, but while a lot of people do it for aesthetic reasons, a shocking 50% of the Irish population are now obese.
Dr. Maurice Larocque has dedicated his life to researching why people become obese and is the founder of the Motivation Weight Loss Clinics. He's here this morning to tell us why changes in your mind will lead to changes in your body. And he's joined by Wendy Donegan and Bear O'Mahony, who both had dramatic weight loss results. Good morning to you all. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Dr. Larocque, most people don't have a problem with food. It's the emotion behind it that they have the problem with. Explain, please.
Absolutely. We explain in psychology the human behavior going through 4 steps. So we live something, an event, and then we have a thought. We say it's good or bad, and then it will trigger automatically an emotion. This emotion can be positive or negative, and the emotion will trigger our behavior, whatever we do, overeat, drink, smoke, or any other behavior or addiction. So everything that we do comes from basically emotion. Motivation, for example, to eat properly or not smoke, exercise, whatever, is an emotion. You feel it. And when an emotion, by definition, you don't have a way to intervene directly on it. So you say, I'm motivated, I'm motivated, I'm motivated. You won't be more motivated. You say, I'm not hungry, I'm not anxious, I'm not anxious. Doesn't work. So the only way where we can intervene with motivation as an emotion or as on anger and so forth is on the next step prior to this is the way we think. And that's why we call that cognitive therapy.
And is apathy an emotion? And because from my experience, a lot of people who allow themselves to go or to get much heavier than they want to be, it's because they're apathetic, they get lazy, they couldn't be bothered.
Well, there are basically, I would say, 2 different causes to why a person would be hungry and binge and so forth. So first, they are the physiological or physical causes. And one main thing is the way they eat, and sugar is the culprit. For many years, scientists and people have said, no, it's the fat. Let's get into the low-fat business. So then the food companies took the food, took out the fat, but replaced it with sugar. And the result has been devastating. I mean, we've seen an explosion, of obesity in the last 15 years. And I'm totally sure that it is because we have changed. We have told people, well, stop the fat, and automatically the sugar intake came in. And it's because it's related to insulin, and people will suffer from hypoglycemia. Yesterday, we had a fantastic meeting with close to 1,000 people audience. And so I was say, raise your hand, those of you who have symptoms of what we call low blood sugar at certain times of the day, sometimes at 4 or 5 in the afternoon, cravings, fatigue, sudden fatigue, irritability, and so forth. So I would say 3 out of 4 people would raise their hands. And it's the same thing in France, where I tour, and the same thing in Canada, where I live. So we're facing a major problem, social problem, and one of the reasons is because, I mean, we've been told that low fat was the key, and high sugar, high carb came in
our diet as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Why, in your opinion, do most diets fail? I'm your typical yo-yo dieter. I've tried everything in the world, including your programme, and I can never quite nail it on the head. Is it about motivation? Is it just, I mean, in your experience, because you are an expert on it now, why do people just fall off the wagon?
There are different reasons. The first one, like you said, they're physiological causes. So if you don't know, if you don't understand why you have cravings and why you can't control yourself, that's the first step. You've got to understand. So become aware of why you do things. And people, unfortunately, are not aware. So you said that you had a hard time in the past. Were you aware why you failed? So there are some psychological, physiological reasons. And then the next one is the emotions, acute emotions that we're going through. And some people who go yo-yo dieting, I mean, they lose half a stone, and then they quit. And most of the time, when they repeat that, so they got what we call motivational blocks or psychological blocks. And it comes from childhood, because now many researchers do see obesity as an addiction, just like smoking, alcohol, drinking, spending on the FISO or cards or whatever. So you only have those symptoms, those reasons why.
Let's have a talk with some of the ladies who are here. We've got Bear O'Mahony and Wendy Donegan. Bear, you're from Cork.
I am, of course.
Okay, you were busy getting on with your life, raising your family. How many children do you have?
4.
4. And at the end of that, you kind of stopped one day and went, holy God, look at the size of me, effectively, was it?
Well, no, because basically, like that, I had yo-yo dieted for 16 years. You name it, I was there. You know, I tried it, I'd lose the weight, I'd put it back on, I'd lose it, I'd put it back on. And all the time getting heavier each time that I went on.
And how big did you get eventually?
17 stone.
Now, you're quite a petite lady.
Well,
You're about 5'4"?
5'4".
5'4".
Yeah.
So that, no, I mean, that's physically and from a health point of view, very dangerous.
It was very dangerous, very hard emotionally carrying it around and physically carrying it around. My GP wasn't happy with me. She wanted to put me on medication for my blood pressure. And I thought even that wasn't, you know, forcing me to do it.
What caused you to gain so much weight? Is there anything that you've pinpointed now in hindsight that said, yes, this is why I was overeating to that extent?
Stress.
Stress?
Yeah, just stress and emotion. You know, I would react, I'd get upset, or, you know, you'd be worried with the kids in different levels, and, you know, good things and bad. Good stress, like, oh, I have a communion, oh my God, you know, and instead of going and being able to diet, it would cause a pain here in the pit of my stomach, and my emotion would kind of be high, and then I'd kind of go, oh, I need something, you know, and you'd be picking. It isn't that I'd be sitting
there. A smoker
yeah.
go for the cigarettes, you just went for the fridge.
Absolutely. And not huge amounts. It wasn't that I was eating huge quantities, but I was picking constantly. So and my blood sugar levels were going up.
So was there a straw that broke the camel's back with you?
There was. I went on, there was two things. One was my son was making his communion and trying to go out and get a clothes size 20 to 24, and you just want to cry and die inside. It's just so hard. And I thought, oh my God, this is the life that I'm going to have for the rest of my life, you know, the next 40 years, this is what, and I thought, oh, this is really bad. And then we went away on holidays to Spain, and we were on, you know, a water park with my son, and, you know, you have to jump into these rings, you know, and hold on, and I was popped out at the weight, and I couldn't get back in, and the lifeguard couldn't get me back in, so I had to walk down to get down to the end. And at the very end, my son and my husband were there, where were you, what happened to you? And I said, no, go on away. And I had to, in the middle of a park, I cried. And I thought, I can't go any further. So when I came back, I'd heard about motivation, and I thought, okay, this is it now. And, you know, it's my head I need to change.
Well, we have shots of you before, and you got to what, 17 stone?
Yeah.
At 5'4"?
Yeah.
So and size 24, as you've just said yourself, which basically isn't a dress, that's a tent.
Literally.
And I don't mean to be offensive.
No, literally, because you couldn't buy normal clothes, you know. You couldn't go in, you had to go to specialist shops, you know. You know, soul-destroying stuff.
Wendy, what was your particular situation? Was it similar to Boris?
Yeah, slightly similar. I was a single mum, so I was had a busy job, and it was more a lot of, you know, takeaways, handy food, and emotional issues as well. You know, you were just food reward would be a big thing for me, whether it was
can you explain
good news.
That now? So
yeah, so I would associate it, especially from childhood. It would be. You know, if it was good news, it would be a meal to celebrate. But if it was bad news, it would be a meal to commiserate. You know,
so
and it was
girl,
all
you did your homework, taking ice cream kind of thing.
Exactly, yeah. So it was a lot, the simple things, but then emotional eating and laziness as well. You know, handiness. And now I find when you're, you know, at home cooking fresh food, and it's so much quicker and easier and tastier.
How heavy did you get?
I got to 15.5 stone. Yeah, that was at my heaviest.
You're not a particularly tall lady either, are you?
I'd be 5'7", yeah.
5'7".
Yeah.
So, did you have any kind of really embarrassing, humiliating moments like that, or was it a kind of a gradual realisation for you?
It was a gradual thing, but it was, you know, there was constant, like, I mean, I stopped shopping, like you would just go to department stores or, you know, online because... you know, because you just wouldn't go into the normal boutiques. Now, the only online I go to is motivation.
But you end up buying shoes and makeup because nothing else fits.
The shoes, the shoes were the thing, because you'll always get them no matter what size they are.
Very quickly before we go, one of the things, it is unquestionably a very successful procedure, Dr. Larocque, but one of the things that has been levelled at you is that it's very expensive.
Oh, I don't think so. I think it's very expensive to gain a lot of weight, to feel miserable, to don't feel good about yourself, to invest that much money, because it costs also to eat a lot, the clothes and so forth, and feel miserable. No, I don't think it's we spend so much money for all other kind of superficial things that are not that important in our life. So I think to take some time, to take some money on ourselves, sometimes I say it's not a weight loss program, it's a self-growth program.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you get so much more than just, you
similar
get so much
things as
more
well. It
than
is-
losing weight. You know, you just really, your confidence is so, and you get to be so positive, especially around children. And
Okay, well look, the two of you now both work with Motivations, and you're with the Cork Clinic, and obviously you're with is it the
Drogheda and Navan,
and Navan, and they are all over the country. There is a meeting in the RDS tomorrow night for medical professionals. You did one for the public on Sunday night, I think.
It's in the Royal College of Surgeons.
Okay, and so medical professionals who are interested in that can go along to the RDS. By the way, just in case you're wondering what that is, it's not the remains of a candle, by the way. It is what actually is stone over
Crikey, there's my back.
That's what a stone in weight actually looks like and feels like.
God, I wouldn't mind throwing away a few of these myself.
Anyway, thank you all very much indeed.